I'm Naomi. I set up Big Ideas 3.5 years ago after speaking at a few conferences. A few conferences when I was working at TM Lou, and I founded social media back in the days when it was new and shiny, and they were very early adopters of social media along with ASOS and other brands like that. So I'd speak at conferences and find there were a lot of small companies coming up at the end saying, how do we do this? And I wanted to help them do it. I'm a massive fan of storytelling. I'm also a musician, and music's all about storytelling. And what I love about social media is it's a great platform to share your story for every brands of all sizes, and it gives people a chance to tell people what it is that's unique about you. And I've had the chance over the last few years to work with a lot of startups and a lot of individual makers, shoemakers, dressmakers, and all sorts, which I really love because I think they've got great stories to tell. So the thing to start a conversation is actually having a place to find a conversation, and most of the conversation is now happening on social media space. That's the best place to have conversations, and you're spending quite a lot of time and effort and sometimes investment on creating really good content on your social media channels, and yet so many companies make it so hard to find them on social media. And that's my sort of first thing I want to say is just make it easy to find you on social media. Even big brands, you'll just find a tiny row of Facebook and Twitter icons along the bottom of the homepage. There's not enough shouting about what you're doing on social, given how much time people are spending on it now. You're starting to see some brands have tabs such as social, because everyone knows what it is now, as a top tab on their homepage. Or blog should always be at the top of your homepage, and not just a tiny row of black social media icons, but some kind of join us, we'd love to see you on, some kind of incentive to come and actually have a conversation with you on social media, because that is really the only place you can talk to people, apart from in a physical shop. You can't talk to them through email. They don't tend to respond and have a chat when you send out an email newsletter. FAQs and contact us is not actually a conversation, that's just one-way sending of a question. So social media is the only place that you can actually have that two-way conversation. And find conversations to join. So the whole point really of social media is to find people who are talking about stuff that's interesting to you and your audience. So find similar brands who are doing good stuff to join, follow them, read their blog, share their blog. Twitter, the power of Twitter is to find people who are searching for you. So one of the simple things I've found sort of demoing with training for small B&Bs and hotels recently, for example. If you search on Twitter on Need B&B Wales and you're a B&B in Wales, you bring up a whole stream of people looking for B&Bs in Wales. So obviously, if you're a B&B in Wales and you respond to that question saying, we have a B&B, we're available, here's our website, you are answering a need. And it's not stalking. People said to me, isn't that stalking? No, it's not stalking, because people are asking a question on a social media forum to get answers. So if you're a brand that's actually looking for people, same like need new PJs, same thing if you're a pyjama company, just look for people searching for what you offer and join in that conversation. It's the simplest and easiest way to get new customers and sales through social media and start a conversation. Encourage reviews. People buy from people, not brands. No matter how much you say how good you are, people really want to hear other people saying how good you are. So encourage people to give reviews of your product and display them as prominently as possible. Make sure it's very easy to read those reviews. And I know Matt from FIFO is talking in a bit, so he can tell you all about how important reviews are. Start a blog. I'm a massive fan of blogs, and every brand that I've started a blog with, I've found it just gives them a whole new voice and personality. So I started off with Designers Guild last year, and before that, really, you'd buy some beautiful fabric, you'd buy some curtains, you'd buy a cushion, and there was nothing on their website about why you would buy from them, what you would do with the cushions and fabric, how you would style it, why Trisha Guild chooses these prints, and she is very much the voice of Designer Guild. And so they started the blog, and the PR team were finally we have a place to talk about our story, and we finally have a voice. Same with Sordays. There was no voice of Sordays. Why stay with us? What makes us special? Alistair Sordays is a luxury travel company. So a blog gives you that place to have that conversation, have that voice. And even if people aren't commenting on your blog, it doesn't mean it's a failure. A lot of people in a good conversation don't talk across each other, they listen. So there'll be a lot of people reading your blog, sharing it through social, or sharing it offline in the pub or the cafe, but they may not be commenting, and just because you haven't got shed loads of comments doesn't mean that your blog is a failure. But it's a really good place to have a conversation with customers and potential customers. Don't force people to talk to you on one channel. So one thing we really learned with Sordays is, Alistair Sordays is a much older audience, luxury B&Bs and hotels, and part of the same company as Canopy and Stars, who's a younger, funkier brand, tree houses, cabins and yurts. Same company, very different audiences. So we launched a competition for both companies, but the entry mechanism had to be very different for each, because whereas the Canopy and Stars audience were very, very happy to share on Facebook and tweet and Instagram, the Sordays audience definitely were not. And we had to make email, you can email your photos in or email your wish list in. It had to make that opportunity available to them, because you can't force people onto one social channel just because it's where you want to have the conversation. And also, if people are asking a question on a social media channel, respond to them on the channel they've spoken to you on. So I often see people tweeting saying, head over to Instagram to see this thing, which I could easily show you on Twitter, and you're on Twitter, but no, go to Instagram. And people work with a company where an agency had told them never answer a customer question on Facebook, always direct them to customer services, even though the Facebook girl sat here and the customer service person sat there. But she would say, no, please email through your question to customer services instead of answering the question. So don't do that. Basically, talk to people on the channel that they want to communicate to you on, and often that is a social media channel. And don't forget print. I was talking to someone this morning about print not being dead by any means. And use your offline material to drive people online to have a conversation. So something Canopy and Stars have printed newspapers in all their properties that when you stay with them, they promote hashtag share the love, which is sharing a photo of your holiday through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. They promote that in their printed newsletter. Hush do a lovely printed newsletter in their parcels that tell you to go online with the hashtag MyHush and share photos of you wearing our clothing. So use your printed materials, parcel inserts, catalogues, whatever you print, to promote conversation online. So what are the keys to a successful conversation? Number one, authenticity. Why do you care what I did on the weekend? And I come in on a Monday and I see fashion brands saying, hey, happy Monday, what did you do on the weekend? Why do you care? Like, seriously, why do you care? Whereas if I follow you as a cycling brand, and I follow you because I love cycling, and I come in on a Monday and it's been a sunny weekend and you say, hey, did you go out on a bike ride at the weekend? Then I care. Because yes, I did. I love cycling. Thank you for asking. That makes sense. But don't ask questions that make no sense to your company or what you do, because it's just, what are you going to do with that information? I had a lovely weekend, thanks. Went home to visit my parent. And what are you going to do with that? So ask questions, but ask questions that are relevant to what you are as a brand and the people that are following you. And listen to the responses. So I often see brands say, we're looking for a new name for our new range of boots. What do you think? Ask a question, good feedback. Long list of answers on what you think they should be called. The brand never likes any of the comments, never thanks anyone for the comments, and never tells them what they call the boots. So why are you asking me if you're not actually listening to the response? Or what's your favourite thing about autumn? Loads of responses. The brand just goes, brilliant, that was a good social media post. Look at all the likes and engagement we got from that. No thanking, no responding, why ask me if you're not going to listen, basically. Don't use jargon. Talk to me on Facebook or Twitter or wherever I am as a person. No more AW15s, please. No more hands up if you like this. I can't see if you put your hand up on Facebook. No more hashtag EOD, which I saw yesterday. And I asked the person what it meant. She went, oh, end of day. I don't know, I've never said to anyone, oh, that discount, it runs out EOD tomorrow, so don't forget. Like, think about how you talk to people in real life. I think the best example of this is the hashtag Tree a Day campaign, which I have to share with you. So this was a fashion brand launching a new tree print dress. Day one, picture of the dress. We're launching a new tree print dress, hashtag Tree a Day. Okay, fair enough. Day two, here's a picture of a lovely tree outside our office. Isn't it lovely? Hashtag Tree a Day. Day three, send in a picture of your favourite tree, and we'd love to see what your favourite tree is, hashtag Tree a Day. Now, all of these posts had no likes, no engagements, but they kept going because that week was their hashtag Tree a Day week. Doesn't make any sense. When have you ever gone to somebody in a cafe or pub and said, what's your favourite tree, hashtag Tree a Day? You just don't talk like that. So post as you would talk to people. It's normal. I say to people, every time you're writing a social media post, read it to a friend, read it to your next door neighbour, read it to a colleague, whatever, and think, would I actually say that? And if not, don't post it. Don't be the only one talking. So you want customers to be talking to each other on social media, something that Hush get a lot of, people recommending things to each other or saying, yeah, I like that style too. I've worked with kids wear brands where mums have gone, yeah, that's my kid's favourite book too. You want that kind of conversation to be happening on social between your customers, and don't intervene if that's happening. Allow them to have that conversation and then join in at the right time. But that's why reviews are great, so encourage reviews. But ask questions that mean that customers can share advice and tips with each other so that they start to have that kind of conversation. A good conversation is one that everyone benefits from. So it's the right mix of promotional and editorial. So it's not saying you can't sell stuff, because obviously people are following you because they like what you do and what you make, and they want to, whatever the product is you're selling, they want to engage with that. So it would be weird if you never to talk about your product. But it's a mix of that and all the other lifestyle stuff around what you do, complementary brands, complementary editorial, things that are relevant to now. And if you're asking for input, show you backed it on it. So, for example, Hush asked their customers, what do you want to see more of? Everyone said denim. They brought in denim to the range. They sold out 3 times over in the first season. So it is very simple, as Rosie said. You can ask these questions and people want to share and they want to give you that input. But only do it if you're going to make a change. Don't say, what would you like to see more of if you have no intention of ever changing your range? Or don't say, would you like this in pink if you're never going to produce it in pink? Ask questions that you are actually going to be able to act on. pictures speak 1,000 words, and it really is, like Instagram, Pinterest are the fastest growing social media channels. I mean, Instagram has gone through the roof, really. And it's because they're very visual and because people respond very well to visuals. So now a conversation is more than just telling someone, it's actually showing them. If you do a Facebook post without a picture, you'll get nothing. You'll get no likes, you'll get no engagement, you'll get no sharing. There's just no point. And people who automate their Twitter to Facebook is completely pointless because you'll never get anything from a text post on a Facebook page. Tweets with pictures get 150% more retweets. I mean, images are very, very powerful. They really enable you to tell your story. Pinterest is great for telling stories for fashion and interior design brands. Instagram is great for showing the real personal story behind the scenes. It's the only place where I'm happy with dogs and cakes. But think about who you are on Instagram. This is a really important thing. Are you Jane Smith, owner of X brand, or are you posting as the brand? And this is a big difference because I'll often see people go, oh, Instagram's a place where I can talk about dogs and cake, and so I can show stuff personal to me, and they'll get a brand Instagram posting pictures of their kids on beach, on holiday, several pictures of their kids on the beach. That's not right for a brand Instagram. Personal is good, how you inspire your decisions, buying trips, shopping things that inspire your designs if you're interior design. Loads of pictures of your kids on holiday, not right if you're posting as the brand, because people are following you as the brand. If they were following you as Jane, owner of the brand, because they want to know more about what you get from your spare time, then you can do the pictures of the kids. It's an important distinction. And video, so I think someone talked about video earlier on. It's about creating trust and confidence. Video is a great way of doing that. If it's human, real, useful, how-to kind of video. So TM Lewin, we did how to iron videos, was the first one we did because the biggest obstacle to people buying the shirts was the fact they were so hard to iron. So we've created a very simple, non-glossy, filmed with a bit of my face powder and the head of creative, and it got 40,000 views a week, and it still gets a huge amount of views. It's one of the top ironing videos on the internet still now. 3 minutes on how to iron your shirt in under 3 minutes. I haven't actually used the advice myself, but a lot of people swear by it. That was creating really useful how-to video content based on a need of a customer. So I really don't want to see any more behind-the-scenes videos of what your models ate for lunch on your photo shoot because no one is interested in that. They're interested in how to use the product and useful human content through video. So Canopy and Stars, for example, have 3-minute videos of all of their yurts and tree houses and cabins because people like to have a bit of a glimpse of what they're going to get before they go and stay there. And they've done lots of surveys where people have said this video content is really important to me in my journey of deciding whether to book with you or not. So it's that kind of useful, real-life video that you want to create. Find good people to chat with. No good conversation is held by one person, apart from if you have to talk at an event like this. But other than that, the conversation involves more than one person. So find other interesting brands to introduce to your audience. So it's like going into a pub or a cafe with your friends and saying, I've just read a book I really think you'd like, or I've just watched a film I think you'd love, or I've just bought a jumper from a company I think you'd really like. It's the brand equivalent of that. And by talking to people about that kind of stuff as a brand, you're engaging in like real normal human conversation with your audience. So don't be afraid. I think people are afraid of pushing anything that's not themselves, but that's what social media is all about. So find interesting brands and people that really complement what you do to introduce them to the people that love you, because the chances are they'll also love the kind of things that you love. When we launched the Sordays blog, the most popular blog post was about this gin distillery, just because it's a really good story and he's a really interesting character, but also because he loved the blog so much that he embedded it on his website, he shared it out to all of his audience. So suddenly there was a massive new audience coming in and reading the Sordays blog that had never heard of Sordays before because of this gin distillery blog. And it also saves you time on content. The more guest blog content you have, other people are creating content for you. It saves you a lot of time creating content yourself. So it is really good to have. And if you're going to bring in other people and talk about them, make sure you let them know you're talking about them. Because often people will write a blog and say, oh, I really love the new collection from so-and-so and this, and it goes well with our range. And they talk about the other brands, but they never let them know. So if you're going to include other brands, make sure you send them a tweet or send them an email, get in touch with them and say, oh, we've just featured you on the blog, you might want to have a look, and then they can know about it and share it out to their audience. If you don't tell them, they're not going to share it because they don't know they're on there. So yeah, make sure you're not the only one talking, basically. And bloggers, find the right bloggers. There are so many bloggers, but it's all about finding the right bloggers to join your conversation because, for example, mum bloggers, there's millions of them, but they are very different. So if you're a kids wear brand, not all mum bloggers are going to work for you. Some talk about designer gear for themselves, some talk about experiences, some talk about designer gear for kids, some talk about DIY and crafting because there's that element of kids. So depending on what you sell, there'll be some mum bloggers that work really, really well for you and some that just won't. So it's not about how many followers does that blogger have and how popular are they in that way. It's really about does their tone of voice and what they're talking about and their whole style fit my brand and what I want to talk about. And it's about finding the right people to have a conversation with. And offline, continue that conversation offline. I think it's great to be amazing online, but you want to continue that experience offline. And the brands that are doing things really well offline will end up generating really good conversation naturally online. So both Hush and Canopy and Stars really, really excel in this. So Hush get people tweeting photos of their cardboard boxes as they arrive, which is a little bit odd. But it's because they're beautifully wrapped. The tissue paper is fragrance. They normally have a card in there. They have a beautifully printed newsletter. The whole experience of receiving the order from them is just lovely versus a black plastic bag that you get through from a lot of retailers. It's just, that whole experience means that people naturally tweet a picture of their box as it arrives without being asked to. No one said, please send us a picture of your box when it arrives. But they want to. And Canopy and Stars, when you stay with them a certain number of times, I just got my first wow box actually, but when you stay with them a certain number of times, they send you this surprise gift in the post full of goodies. You don't know it's coming. There's no social media marketing angle. There's no marketing in it. Just a card saying thank you for being great and staying with us. And that's the important thing. I think if there was a marketing angle, it could totally destroy the nature of this gesture. If you ask people to tweet it or share it, then you're kind of removing the gesture of friendship and goodwill and sort of honest, being a nice brand that they're creating by this. So there's no, please tweet this gift for a chance to win. It's just, thank you very much. And people do tweet it and share it because it's a lovely gesture, but make sure you're doing something good offline that will help generate conversation online, basically, and make that experience match, but do it naturally without sort of pushing people to share it online. So 3 things to stop and start doing. I haven't even seen if there's a hand waving at me, but I presume there probably is. So stop thinking of and talking to your customer as a thing or a group rather than a person or an individual, as Rosie said. And that comes down to the language again, reading out loud what you're going to say and thinking, is that something I would say to a person? And don't force it. So I always say if it feels wrong, it probably is. There'll be brands that say to me, but Naomi, it's Valentine's Day coming up. What are we going to say about Valentine's Day? It's not in the content plan. What are we going to say on Valentine's Day? Nothing. If you don't say anything to do with Valentine's Day, don't say anything. Oh, we have one pink item in our range somewhere. Let's go. Happy Valentine's Day. Just don't talk about it. It was Halloween coming up. You may not have anything to do with Halloween. Then you don't need to talk about Halloween. So don't force it. If it feels wrong, it probably is. And think about quantity all the time over quality. So I still get companies saying to me, but we want to reach 100,000 likes by Christmas, Naomi. Why? So why? I mean, House of Fraser have 250 or more than that probably now, 1,000 likes, and they post a video and they get 10 people liking it. So if you've got loads and hundreds of thousands of followers and you've got no engagement, what's the point? It's the wrong metric. So think about who's commenting, who's sharing, who's tagging friends going, you should really check this out, what traffic's driving to the website, what sales is driving to the website. These are the things that matter, not a number of likes on the Facebook page at the end of the year. And then if you could start doing one thing, just think today about one question that if you could get an answer to one question from your customer base or your prospective customer base that would make a difference to your business, what would it be? And ask that question. Because they're the people that are in a position to tell you the answer. So really think about what would make a difference to ask and ask it. Write a blog, because blogs are great, and create a content plan. So most of my time is spent creating content plans for companies, but I really think looking ahead and looking at the next 3 months and thinking about what's coming up in the outside world and how what you do connects to the outside world is really, really important. So, for example, I forgot to say this earlier, but there's no point in pushing what you want to push at this time of year if it's not relevant. I was working with a kidswear brand last August. It was really hot last August. And but their stock product plan said snowsuits coming in August. So they pushed snowsuits massively in August. It's like, guys, it's boiling outside. It's like 35 degrees. It was really hot. But no, the plan said that August is snowsuits, and that's when the stock comes in. So, but that's totally, there's no point in pushing that when it's not the right time, and no one's thinking about that. So now there's no point in pushing on your swimsuit range now when you're coming into winter, unless you're thinking about escapes for summer. But basically, think about what people are talking about now, the time of year, coming into winter, and how what you sell connects in with that and can be relevant to what's happening now, basically. So, yeah, basically, you talk to people you like, you shop with brands you like, so create conversations that reflect that and be a brand that people can like and have a good conversation with. And then I spent a while looking for a cool Pinterest quote and realised I was doing exactly what I've just told you all not to do, which is not being authentic. So really what I want to say is say less and mean more, and that's it.